Good morning, teachers and students, and welcome to Star Publishing. My name is Heather Jones, and I am the author of Star Summit Secondary Course, the 8 Star Summit Electives, and Star Mock Exam Practice and Star Strategies Reading. Today I would like to give you a short introduction to Star Strategies Reading. These 4 books cater to students in Secondary 4 and Secondary 5, giving them a solid grounding in preparation for Paper 1 of the HKDSE. There are 4 books in the series, 2 books for Secondary 4 and 2 books for Secondary 5. Set A's are for weaker students and Set B's are for stronger students, but this is only a rough guide. You may find you want to use Volume 1 Set A for your Secondary 3 students, or Volume 2 Set B for your Secondary 4 students, and so on. It's up to you. Before I point out the major features of the course, I'd like to give you an insight into how this series was created. Firstly, I made up a list of all the different question types in the sample exam paper and in previous exam papers. I divided these up into different types of questions. For example, whether they were dictionary definition questions, or pronoun referent questions, work questions, table filling, and so on. I then grouped these questions according to the strategy used to find the answers and presented them in the same unit. Each strategy specifically advises the students how to recognise a particular question type and how to approach it. Since this is a strategy-based approach, we call the books Star Strategies. Now, first of all, I'll be using this book here, which is Volume 2 Set B, so that you can follow the pages as I talk. And the first thing I'd like to point out is a section called Theme Words and Expressions. This is at the back of the book on T1, and for each unit we have a selection of about 50 collocations relevant to the theme of topic of that unit. So for Unit 1, it is better to give than receive, which is about charities, donating, voluntary work, that sort of thing. We have grouped various vocabulary items. So, for example, the qualities needed for a volunteer: dedicated, trustworthy, sympathetic, empathetic, and all the opposites are given as well. I must remind you, this is for the strongest students. In the Set A books, we use simpler collocations. Then we have people in need, the needy, benefits of working as a volunteer, adjectives to describe volunteer work. And after a page and a half of grouped collocations, useful expressions, etc., we then have 2 exercises, one closed passage and one where the theme word is missing and the first letter of that word is given. So there are 2 exercises, and in each of our skills or strategies books of the future we are going to do exactly the same. We're going to use the same theme words. So these theme words are recycled throughout each unit across the skills books, or strategies books as we call them. Reading, Unit 1 will have theme words on the same topic. It will be on the topic of charities for Set B, Volume 2, and the same with listening, the same with writing, the same with speaking. So that across the skills books they are reusing the vocabulary of these same themes. Then we come to meaning from context, which is also at the back after theme words. Meaning from context is on page M1, M for meaning from context. And we have it is better to give than receive, inferring meanings from context. So this is when a student is faced in the exam, which often happens, they don't have a clue what a particular word is. I have suggested they can ask themselves 4 key questions, and this section gives them practice in those key questions. What part of speech is it? Can the word be broken down to smaller, more meaningful parts? What meaning is missing from the sentence? And is there a synonym or another word or expression which completes the meaning of the sentence? So that's meaning from context, and they are given a dialogue or a short passage with key words relevant to the theme in them, embedded in them, and the test is exactly what you'd find in the exam, with 1 key word identified, 3 options given for possible meanings. Then we go to the beginning of each unit, which starts with vocabulary skills. And in Unit 1, on page U13, we have the vocabulary skills prefixes, and Unit 2 is suffixes. Then we cover synonyms and antonyms, phrasal verbs, and commonly confused words. So we go through a lot of analysis of English vocabulary, helping the students to be able to widen their understanding and their ability to be able to put words together and work out what their meaning is from the context. So if you look at vocabulary skills prefixes, there is a table there of common prefixes for Set B, Volume 2. This is quite advanced. These are advanced prefixes like mal and anti and by. There are simpler ones in the Set A books, which are un and dis and in and so on. And that's followed by an exercise. Then the bulk of each unit is made up of 3 separate strategies to approach different question types. And the strategies have 1 model exam question, which is a model question which is given to them, and they can see how the strategy is applied. And then they have 1 practice question, and they work out, or a set of practice questions, and they work out how to answer it using the model to help them. So then online we have another 3 exercises for them to practice that particular strategy. I'll go into the strategies in more detail in separate videos. I've got 3 videos, 1 on pronoun reference, 1 on why questions, and 1 on paraphrasing. Just look up HKDSE STAR Strategies Reading, and it will come up. One of those 3 will come up, as well as this one, which is the introductory video. So at the end of the 3 strategies, then we have grammar matters. And grammar matters in Unit 1 of this book appears on page 28, Unit 1, 28. And grammar matters covers key grammatical features that are often tested in the reading paper. Grammar in the exam, which is the next section, is a small section where they are advised, the students are advised and given guidance on common mistakes that are made. Often very simple mistakes. So the first one we have in the book is the subject-verb agreement. If you have a third-person singular simple present tense reply in your answer, you have to use the S at the end. So that is highlighted, and then there's a short passage and a set of 8 to 10 questions which cause them to, prompt them to answer using the subject-verb agreement. At the end of each unit, we have a test paper. The test paper is graded, so in length and in difficulty as you go through the book. They get more difficult, each book, and they get lengthier. Each test paper only concentrates on has only question types of the question types that have been addressed in the strategies section of the unit or in preceding units. So in the first one, the Unit 1 deals with Strategy 1, answering "were" and "how" questions, Strategy 2, answering pronoun referent questions, and Strategy 3, answering dictionary definition questions. So those are the three types of questions, plus meaning from context questions, that occur in this test paper. At the end of the book, we have the appendices. Appendix 1, this is at the very end, A1, is a list of natural responses. And those apply when we have the dialogue between two people talking about the passage. One person makes a comment, the other one replies. We don't know what the reply is, but the student has to choose from the box which one they want to use. For that, there are natural responses in conversation, and there's usually about 2 or 3 of them in those excerpts. Agreement, expressing disagreement, amazement, encouragement, and being unsure. Then we have Appendix 2. Appendix 2 lists the countries, nationalities, capital and major cities of countries that often appear in exam papers. So Japan, Malaysia, People's Republic of China, and so on. Appendix 3 is a grammar glossary, which is 12 pages, guiding the students and explaining every single grammatical term they may not understand which is used in the book. Appendix 4 is a list of irregular verbs. Appendix 5 has 20 different parts of speech, four parts of speech for 20 different vocabulary items related to the theme. That is on page 20, A20, and then Appendix 6 is a list of 120 different phrasal verbs. Now, if you'd like to talk to me about this or any other of the books I've written, we can have a Skype meeting, a Skype conference. You can contact me on the email below, hajones.starpub@gmail.com, or contact me on Facebook at heather.a.jones. Don't forget the dot. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoyed using the texts.